Okay, so let's focus all of our attention now on the phrase. So you have these words, you have these isms and these verbs and these harf, and you combine them together. So when you combine the isms, the fi'l and the harf together, then that would either result in a complete benefit upon which silence is appropriate, or it would not result in that, but it would result in something less than that. So if it's the complete benefit upon which silence is appropriate, then that's sentence, and that's on the left side. Okay, and we'll speak about that in the second video. And if it's less than that, then it's a phrase. Okay, so there is always some relationship, there is always some association, because we're not talking about a grocery list. We're not talking about taking random words and lining them up together, but instead we're speaking about specifically the methods of connecting words together that are sanctioned by the language. I'll say that one more time. We're speaking about the methods of connecting words together that are sanctioned by the language. Some of these methods result in complete meanings, that the speaker can now become silent and the silence would be appropriate, and that's called a sentence. And other times the joining does not result in a complete benefit upon which silence is appropriate, but rather it's less than that. So either predication or something less than predication. Okay, so if it's less than predication, then that means we're dealing with a phrase, and that's the purpose of this presentation. Now, there are many types of phrases based on the kind of relationship. So either you're dealing with two isms, and one of them is describing the other, so there's a description relationship there, or there's an association or an ownership, in the sense that one owns the other. What in English would be expressed with apostrophe s, that's a type of phrase. Or it could be like the first word is paving the way for the second one's more important, like his father Yaqub, where Yaqub is the word that was the main purpose, and his father is sort of giving an advanced clarification of it, paving the way for it. So that's a type of phrase. And then you can use conjunctions to create phrases, like instead of just Zayd, you say Zayd and Amr came. I hit Zayd and Amr. I passed by Zayd and Amr. So that Zayd and Amr is functioning as a single unit, and this is the commonality between all phrases, that the two or more words connecting together function as a single unit, which means that they occupy a place within the sentence that one word can occupy. So instead of Zayd came, we have Zayd and Amr came. Instead of Yaqub came, we have his father Yaqub came. Instead of the boy came, we have the tall boy came. Okay? Or like many examples can be given, and we'll give you more examples as we move through with this presentation, inshallah. And don't worry too much about the examples, because as soon as the book begins, every word, every phrase, and every sentence within the book will become an example of everything we're teaching you. So all of the theory will come to life as soon as the third week of class. Okay? So this is the main point, that when the two or more words connect together to create the phrase, then ultimately all of those words together will function as a single unit. And you're going to see a very clear example of this by the end of this video, inshallah. Okay, now if you remember, in the first week, in the first video, the istansaru example that was presented was done in order to highlight the comprehensiveness of the Arabic language at the word level, that what looked like a single word ended up giving us 7 meanings. So similarly, when words are connected together to create phrases, we have more than what we started off with. Okay, so like if I have the word boy and the word tall, and I connect them together in a phrase, then we will have the individual meaning of the word boy and the individual meaning of the word tall, and beyond that we'll have the internal description that the adjective is associated to the noun. Okay, so waladun tawilun. Now it's not tawil walad, it's waladun tawilun, and it's not al walad tawil either, it's waladun tawilun. It's very specific, in the sense that both the word walad and the word tawil are matching, and we're going to speak about the angles of correspondence in a few slides from now, inshallah. But for now, just look at the two words, and they are matching in all possible ways, that they're both singular, they're both masculine, and they both do not have al at the beginning of it, but instead both of them end in a double dhamma, so waladun with the n sound and tawilun with the n sound. Okay, so when you do it in this way, the translation becomes tall boy. Tall boy. So there's a meaning coming from the word boy, and there's another meaning coming from the word tawil. There's a meaning coming from walad, and another meaning coming from the word tawil. And by lining them up in this particular way, we're getting a third meaning that wasn't there originally, and that's the description aspect of it. So you can consider that a non-word meaning. So remember, within our first 3 weeks, our main goal is to teach you the non-word meanings, the mechanisms that give us the meanings that are not coming from the vocabulary, above and beyond the vocabulary. Okay, so some of it's coming from the patterns and the endings, and some of it's coming from the structure. So this is an example of a meaning that comes from the structure, the description. The word walad and the word tawil individually do not contain the meaning of description. It's when you line them up together, in that way you get the third meaning of description, and the translation is tall boy. Okay, so from the dozen plus types of phrases in the language, throughout this presentation we're going to speak about the one on the screen right now, which we call the descriptive phrase, or the mawsuf sifa phrase. And then the other one, which is the possessive one, and that's called the mudaf ilayh phrase. So pretty much there's 4 terms that you're going to get from this presentation. The first is mawsuf, and the second word is sifa. And let's go ahead and develop the mawsuf and the sifa. The mawsuf is the ism at the front that is being described, and it is a noun, it is an entity. And the sifa is another ism, which is the adjective. And remember that the Arab grammarians have taken the noun, the adjective, the noun, the pronoun, adjective, and adverb, and grouped them together under ism. So essentially it's 2 isms we're dealing with. 2 isms. So you line them up together, 2 isms. The ism that's at the front is called mawsuf. That's the technical term for it. And the other ism is called sifa, and that's the adjective. And the second describes the first. Opposite of what we would expect in English, because in English we say tall boy, but here we're going to say waladun tawilun, with the boy word first and the tall word second. Second ism describes the first. And that's the first important thing you need to know about this type of phrase. Okay, the fact that it's opposite of the order in English. Okay, so here's 2 examples for you to begin with. We have the tall boy example, and it's a tall boy. It's not a particular tall boy, it's a tall boy. And then the example underneath that is the intelligent girl, where both the word girl and the word intelligent are feminine. Okay, and not only that, but they both have the al at the front of them. So the translation will be the intelligent girl. So apart from knowing that the order is inverted, okay, that the noun that's being described is at the front and the adjective that does the description is delayed, the next important piece of information you need to know is that the 2 will correspond in 4 aspects. And that's it. Once we know these 4 aspects, we're done with this type of phrase. We can move on to the next one. First of all is the order. Okay, that was discussed on the previous slide. Other than that, they will correspond in 4 aspects. Number 1, the gender needs to be the same. Okay, now the noun's gender is determined by whether it's like a man or a boy, as opposed to a girl or a female. So that's like, you don't need any sign for that. Like bint, al-bint has a long ta at the end of it, so I wouldn't consider that a sign of femininity, because the sign of femininity is the round ta. Okay, but bint is clearly feminine in the sense that it's a girl. It refers to a girl. Adjectives, here's something that's important, that adjectives in English do not have gender. So like if I'm speaking about a boy that's tall or a girl that's tall, I use the same word. I say tall, but in Arabic you would actually have to add a round ta at the end of the adjective in order to correspond it to the noun if you're dealing with a feminine noun. So if you look at the 2 examples on the screen, al-waladu tawilu, both the word al-walad and the word at-tawil are masculine. Whereas in al-bintu rashidatu, both the word bint and the word ar-rashidatu are feminine. The translation for the first example is the tall boy, and the translation for the second example is the intelligent girl. So gender is the first of the 4 aspects in which the 2 need to correspond. The second is plurality. Okay, now this gets into the grammar topic about how to create duals and how to create plurals. So that's an entire topic that's given to you at a more appropriate time. But for now, all you need to understand is that if the ism at the front is dual, meaning that it has the special ending that duals have, then that ending would need to be attached to the end of the adjective also. So not only al-waladani, but al-waladani tawilani, the 2 tall boys. Ar-rijalul muslimuna, the Muslim men. So ar-rijal is the plural of the word rajul. Rajul means one man, and rijal means men. So similarly, you'd have to take the word Muslim and turn that into plural, and the method of making plural might not be the same. So they don't have to rhyme. Okay, that's not what we're saying that they'll rhyme, but they'll both have the same value. They'll both be plural. So what would be incorrect is is ar-rijalul muslim. That would be incorrect. You have to say ar-rijalul muslimuna. And then there's more that could be said, but I think that's sufficient for now. And let's continue with the third aspect in which the two need to correspond. And the third aspect will be definite indefinite value.